Two Democrats say the votes at the Capitol are just for show, that the decisions are made secretly, illegally, ahead of time, so they're suing.
But it's really important to have legislators who are on the inside of this bringing this lawsuit.
A former Denver Rescue Mission employee says he was fired for his sexuality and that it happened after the nonprofit promised to stop discriminating so it could keep taxpayer money. When severe storms miss the metro area, they often hit Colorado right where our food is grown, where our neighbors are trying to get by.
That's our livelihood. That's our whole lives. That's where we are raising our kids.
And what if kids were in charge of what they ate at school? Let the taste test begin tonight on Next. Democratic state legislators say their own party's leaders are breaking the law at the state capitol, accusing them of deciding key issues in secret before the public ever sees a thing. Here's politics guy Marshall Zellinger.
Hi, Sam. Oh, Sam Burgum is a producer at 9 News. I used the app Signal to text her and let her know we probably shouldn't keep this chat message. Good thing Signal can auto-delete. This text exchange is an example of what Democrats are accusing other Democrats of using at the state capitol. Inside committee rooms like this are where the public can testify on legislation. It's the first stop for a bill before it gets changed, dies, or continues on through the legislature. Inside committee rooms are also where decisions happen secretly, according to a lawsuit filed by Democratic state representatives Elizabeth Epps and Bob Marshall. They accuse both parties of using Signal, where the settings can be changed to have the messages disappear. Settings that can be changed to even 1 second.
It's really important to have legislators who are on the inside of this bringing this lawsuit.
Jeff Roberts with the Colorado Freedom of Information Coalition is close to releasing a report by a DU law student on elected leaders using disappearing and encrypted messaging apps.
The open meetings law says the formation of public policy is public business and shall not be conducted in secret.
When two or more lawmakers meet to discuss policy or make decisions, even if it is in an app that deletes messages, the lawsuit and Roberts contend that creates a meeting that should be open to the public.
When they happen on a disappearing messaging app, you're never even going to know about it because there's not even going to be a record of that meeting, let alone notice to the public or minutes that are required.
Epps and Marshall also said Democratic leaders directed legislative aides to omit or disguise secret meetings from the lawmakers' calendars, which are public records. They also accused both parties of holding meetings in secret, though the lawsuit did not specifically say how the two Democrats knew Republicans were doing this. I talked on the phone with State Representative Bob Marshall, one of the two Democrats suing. He did not want to do an on-camera interview because he did not want to be seen as grandstanding with his colleagues. Again, he's suing them. Bob Marshall is well versed in open meetings law. He has previously sued the Douglas County School Board for violation of open meetings laws, and he told me this is proof that he doesn't care which political party you are. He will seek transparency from both sides.
I mean, Epps was already at odds with Democratic Party leadership. You got to imagine both of them probably going to get iced out after this. But so what are they looking to have happen here?
Also, I didn't get a chance to talk with Epps today. He didn't respond to a text message. But according to Marshall, he just wants them to admit that they've done wrong and to change the policies around that. I don't know that there's any kind of like smoking gun that we expect to find out from what these meetings were specifically about, or did it change specific legislation to the point where it's like, whoa, I can't believe that happened, versus just knock it off. Kind of like what Bob Marshall wanted with Douglas County School Board, like admit that we did it wrong and we won't do it again. Same kind of thing here.
All right, Marshall, thank you very much. A former employee of the Denver Rescue Mission has filed complaints with the city and the state, claiming that he was discriminated against for his sexuality and disabilities. He was fired after the rescue mission got in very public trouble for discriminating against LGBTQ employees because it was a violation of their city contracts. Denverite was first to report on these new discrimination complaints filed by former mission employee Kyle Fischler. He says he believes that the rescue mission added its employee handbook provisions banning LGBTQ relationships after his bosses found out he had gone to a gay speed dating event. When those discriminatory policies became public and city council leaders pointed out that they were a violation of city contracts, the rescue mission said it would remove that language from the handbook. A month later, Fischler was fired. Official reason listed was being late, missing shifts. He says he never missed work, acknowledges that he was sometimes late, he says, due to PTSD and depression brought on by the situation. In his complaint, Fischler said that was just an excuse to fire him without violating anti-discrimination requirements.
I never received any kind of behavioral contract or any concern of my behaviors or a worry of my whereabouts. It felt like they got in trouble. They realized they got in trouble and they responded so they didn't lose any kind of contracts.
Denver's anti-discrimination office is investigating his claims and will make a final determination on whether it should go to court. Denver Rescue Mission told us today they can't comment on pending litigation. They said that they continue to operate under the revised employee policies that were approved by the city earlier this year. XL customers have another chance to weigh in on the proposed rate hikes coming in the fall. There are public hearings on this week where state regulators are asking XL to justify why it needs tens of millions of dollars more in revenue when it already has record profits. XL wanted to increase electric rates $312 million, about $7 on the average residential monthly bill. Last month, XL reached a proposed deal with the State Energy Office and consumer advocates where they'd get a much smaller increase, somewhere between $48 and $97 million. XL began making its case to regulators at a hearing today. Customers can offer their view by Zoom tomorrow evening, 4 to 6 p.m. The link to sign up to speak is on the Public Utilities Commission website, and we put a link to it in a story on 9news.com. While we're talking XL, they are now facing a fourth lawsuit for their alleged involvement in the Marshall Fire. This latest lawsuit comes from a couple whose property was damaged. Investigators say that XL's equipment likely sparked one of the two ignition points of the Marshall Fire. The lawsuit filed today in Boulder County District Court says XL was negligent by not changing its equipment settings or proactively turning off power in that area despite the forecast of high winds. XL has maintained it doesn't believe that its equipment started that fire. When severe storms move east out of the metro area, there's often relief that tornadoes and hail are over largely open land. But of course, that means that it's the Coloradans who grow our food who are bearing the brunt of the storms. Mark Salinger takes us out to Logan County, far northeast Colorado.
It's gorgeous. I love living out here most of the time.
Somewhere in the middle of nowhere,
We are northwest of Sterling, Colorado.
home has taken a beating this summer.
But the most devastating thing was the hail.
Nikki Wernsman knows life on the farm isn't always easy.
You very rarely get a day off.
These last couple months have been brutal.
This hay crop behind me would probably be just below my knee. And instead, it's a few inches tall.
The hail destroyed it all.
It's been rough.
Storm after storm rolls through the eastern plains. Sure, not a whole lot of people live here, but for those who do, the pain is very real.
That's our livelihood. That's our whole lives. That's where we are raising our kids, and these crops are going to help pay for their college someday.
From Bennett to Holyoke and here on the Wernsman family farm, farmers are left surveying the damage and filing insurance claims.
Yeah, so 10 minutes of that was pretty devastating.
Every day, it seems like recently, another round of storms leads to another afternoon feeling helpless.
It's devastating to sit in the lawn chair in the garage with the door propped open and just watch it take your crop. There's nothing you can do to help it. Yeah.
In a summer like this,
Then you usually have to go crack a beer.
Nikki can't do anything to stop the hail.
Nothing else you can do.
Nothing else. At that point, might as well have a beer and go survey the damage.
Today, some sun and some hope that the storms will miss home the next time.
And there's still no other job that I'd rather have out here.
For next, I'm Mark Salinger.
Insurance covers some of the crop losses. Nikki was telling Mark that the alfalfa they lost is not covered. She said they'll just have to take the hit, hope that it doesn't happen again. You actually just gave a huge boost to another small community in Colorado also dealing with damage from severe weather. Your latest Word of Thanks microgiving campaign raised more than $50,000 for the Hayden Flood Relief Fund. It's going to go to help repair the homes of people who don't live in a flood zone, didn't have flood insurance, but yet they were hit by serious flooding back in April. If you know of a community in need in our state, anywhere, shoot me a note at next@9news.com. That's when I'll try to find a trusted nonprofit that's in a position to help us help them.
Keep the name and also the music.
Legendary Jazz Club gets a virtual encore after they closed during the pandemic. Colorado's air quality has been violating EPA standards for years. Environmentalists want to force a federal intervention. And Littleton's littlest food critics decide what should be served up in the cafeteria. That's next. The Space Command fiasco that Colorado's been anxiously watching for years may now be holding up Air Force business. The Air Force says it's suspending personnel moves and bonuses until October while they try to sort out the impact on the budget. Alabama's congressional delegation has promised to hold up funding and leadership nominations in the Air Force until the Biden administration makes a final decision on whether Space Command should stay here in Colorado or move to Alabama, as former President Trump ordered in 2021. The Biden administration has delayed the move, but has not made a final decision. Environmentalists are taking the EPA to court over Colorado's ozone pollution. They say the federal government isn't doing enough to force Colorado to comply with regulations. The Center for Biological Diversity and a group called 350 Colorado are both challenging EPA approval of the state's plan to reduce front-range ozone. They want an appeals court to overturn the plan with the hope that federal regulators would come in with tougher rules on fossil fuel development in the state. Colorado's been falling short of EPA ozone standards for years. We're still trying to meet the standards that were set in 2008. Chris Bianchi, I don't know, a couple of years ago, they tell you like the most useful thing that you can do just like as a single person is to get rid of the gas-powered lawn equipment, the mower and the trimmer and everything else. I did that a couple of years ago. I was nostalgic for the smell of the old gas stuff, which was just like what a bent thought to have in your mind. But now I've been all electric for a couple of years. It works fine. It's all good.
And by the way, another thing you can do, Kyle, as well, is avoid filling up on gas on these high ozone pollution days like today. Just avoid filling up on gas during the daytime hours because that adds to the ozone during those day part hours. So try to avoid that till about after 5 o'clock. So maybe wait till the evening or early mornings to fill up on gas on those sorts of days. Meantime, we're probably going to have some high ozone days as we head over the next little while because we're going to turn a lot warmer here starting tomorrow. In fact, today was pretty warm as well, but a bit cloudier today, but we start to turn a bit warmer tomorrow. Isolated storms east for us tonight. In fact, the last storms now departing the southeastern corner of the state. This would be Baca County. We're still seeing some storms out here across the southeastern corner of the state, but these will clear on out in the next hour or so. And we're done with the storms not only for tonight, but we're probably done with storms just about statewide here for probably the next 2 to 3 days or so. Highs say Denver 92 for us. That made it our warmest day so far this year. By the way, only the second time so far this calendar year we've hit 90 degrees or above. That is our least year-to-date 90-plus days since 1967. So it has certainly been a cool start to the summer, but we're going to change that a little bit over the next few days. Tonight, temperatures back into the low 60s for us, pleasant evening. For tomorrow, mid-90s for us. Tomorrow, likely going to be our warmest day so far this calendar year. And then that 7-day forecast, once you get past that, it stays mild for us for both Wednesday and Thursday. Here, there's a little concert in town coming up for Friday and Saturday. It looks okay. I would feel a little bit better about the concert on Friday night for the Taylor Swift concert on Friday night as opposed to Saturday. But I think both days we're just talking about isolated shower and storm chances. And then as we get into the early part of next week, we're staying on the mild side.
Next is a Taylor Swift free zone, but we'll allow that quick mention from Chris Bianchi. Denver's jazz community lost a legendary spot in 2020 when El Chapultepec closed. 87 years on the music scene, hosting big names, unknowns. That club now has a second act online.
Everybody has a unique story at El Chapultepec.
All over the world, the Peck has touched people.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. My name is Freddie Rodriguez Jr. Let's see what spring is like. I'm the son of Freddie Rodriguez Sr. My father loved that place. That guy loved jazz, and he loved that club.
My name's Anthony Black. I am a professional musician. If you ever got a gig at the Peck, you always thought you made some other plateau in your life. It just had that vibe, you know.
And as everybody knows, we closed Chapultepec in 2020. So we're launching the website, thepeclegacy.com, and it's essentially a spot for the Peck community to reconvene, to interact with each other again.
You know, when the Peck closed, man, the outpour was just so tremendous.
Since I was about 12 or 13, I played there for a long time, 40 years.
It was a great experience.
And so part of this legacy project is kind of trying to fill that hole, both in our hearts and in the Denver jazz scene.
It was a real thing that was happening here, and it's still happening, and it's still in the minds and hearts of people.
without everybody's contribution over the years, musicians and patrons in the entire city, there wouldn't be an El Chapultepec Legacy.
In honor of my father, keep the jazz going, keep the music going.
And I hope that legacy lives as long as it can.
The people behind the Peck Legacy project say they hope this new online platform will be a place for people to book live bands, to learn about the Peck's history, and also share their own favorite stories and photos.
Amazing. I think you got just the right amount of spice.
The people who run school cafeterias across America are meeting in Denver right now, and they are getting some advice from the real experts on school lunches. That's next. You know who has strong opinions on school lunches? School kids. I imagine that the National School Nutrition Association has its views too, but with their national convention in town, it was kids from Littleton Public Schools who came by to give them a piece of their mind.
We are here at the annual nutrition conference. School Nutrition Association puts this on. Anything that touches the school nutrition program, it's here. I'm Jessica Gould, and I am the Director of Nutrition for Littleton Public Schools here in Colorado. We have 6 students from Littleton Public Schools here, and they're going to be walking the show floor with my team and trying all sorts of different products.
What are your thoughts? Immediate feedback. Amazing. I think you got just the right amount of spice.
We have over 320 vendors here. Students need nutrition to make sure that they're growing both in their own bodies but within their minds. So we want to make sure that our kids are having all the nutrition so that when they're at school, they can really achieve.
We're going to start with a watermelon whole fruit cup, okay?
So making sure that we're finding foods that our students enjoy, as well as meeting our stringent nutritional guidelines.
Yeah, it probably won't fill you much, which is kind of a good thing.
These students are going to be the student voice of Littleton Public Schools for our menu in the future.
It feels amazing. It also kind of feels stressful to give my feedback because I don't want the grown-ups to be sad. Everything I've tried so far is amazing. I haven't been high five.
Absolutely.
It is nice that we get to bring the students in and they get to understand how complicated it can be and deal with some of those challenges while creating beautiful menus.
I've been reading the email. Your feedback tonight is about my lawnmower and my life choices associated with lawns, but maybe Aaron found something I haven't seen yet. Your feedback's next. The most Colorado thing we saw today is everybody enjoying a day on the water. Alan snapped this photo at Dillon Lake. Just a moose, couple paddle boarders, the typical sights up there. If you see something that says Colorado to you, send it our way. Next at 9news.com is the email, or use the hashtag #HeyNext. Feedback tonight from Ricard, who says, are we to believe that Kyle mows his own lawn? I do mow my own lawn. I love it. Are you kidding me? It's like the most soothing thing in the world because you can see your progress. And when you're done, and it smells beautiful. I could do an entire 3-minute essay on why mowing your lawn is the greatest thing in the world. But you know who doesn't want to hear it is Katie, who says about switching to an electric mower. How about getting rid of your lawn? She's giving me instructions now. Switch to xeriscaping, no lawn mower needed. Colorado's high desert, grass doesn't belong here anyway. Katie, there's some beautiful xeriscaped yards around town. I respect the folks who do that. Right now, I've been focusing on how much can we take our water use down, but haven't got to the point that we're tearing the lawn out. God, it smells so good when you mow it. You're just done. It's nice. It's the greatest. I'll mow my lawn tonight. See you next time.